Today I wanted to go to the moon in Kerbal Space Program. I was not expecting for there to be sound during this. I played around with my settings for a little while, and then it was time to begin. Just letting you know, this was streamed on Twitch at twitch.tv/dlmurphy930. Link in description. Go pop a follow. To start off this mission to the moon, I loaded up my save file as the NSA. This was a file that I had previously played on just for fun, and I had done quite a bit of work. So all we really had to do was make it to the moon, land on the moon, and get back. Behold the shitmobile. This would be the ship to get us to the moon and back. Made from 8 solid rocket boosters and a whole host of liquid fuel boosters. It was going to get us to and from the moon, with a few slight modifications. You see, it had one teeny tiny issue, really. It wasn't too bad. It would fall over. Every time we made it there, I'd land, and then it would fall over, and then I tried to upright it, and then everything would blow up. Which sucked, which you will see a lot in this. So, after making a few modifications before our first flight, it was time to begin the grueling process of landing on the moon. Now, there's a few tricks to getting to the moon in Kerbal Space Program. Number 1 is getting a good initial height. We did this with our 8 solid rocket boosters that could get us a total height of around 120,000 meters. This was a good height to begin our orbit. We did this with our second stage, in which we would fire basically straight to the east, trying to set us up an equatorial orbit. Once our trajectory showed us going far enough, which was honestly just an eyeball estimate, we would warp to the top, to the apoapsis, which is the point furthest from the Earth, the highest point in our trajectory, in our arc. We would then create our maneuver node, which would tell us how much delta V or fuel we would need to make it to a similar length of orbit as the moon. Once we had our maneuver ready, we would warp to the point of the maneuver and we would begin. We would fire boosters until our projected trajectory would put us around 10 million meters above the Kerbin surface. Once we reached that, we would just time warp straight through until we made an encounter with the moon. It took a while sometimes, but once we got there, it was time to slow down. Sometimes we would have to do something tricky, like in this case where we had to actually speed up to make it around the moon so that we could get to the light side and actually be able to see where we were landing because we didn't have any lights. Most of the time we just go full retrograde and slow down. It was after this that we started to run into problems. See, as you get closer to the surface, you start to go faster. And once you're going super fast, it's kind of difficult to slow down. Most of the time, we were able to slow down to a speed where we wouldn't have to worry too much. Unfortunately, once we were on the ground, we would just fall over, which was not great, and it would often lead to blowing up, as you will see in a moment. See, the issue with blowing up is, especially at this point, is that I didn't know that you could just quick save and reload the quick save inside of Kerbal. My understanding was that you had to go all the way back to the launch and do everything you had just done all over again. And that was awful. But that's what I would do for a majority of the stream. We would just go back to launch, blow up, go back to launch, blow up, go back to launch, blow up. Sometimes we would make a few adjustments in between, mostly with the landing legs, until I came upon the realization that I should just make my own landing system, which was a terrible idea. May I introduce to you the Cactus Landing System. Now, the Cactus Landing System was a pretty simple idea. Basically, if I was going to tip over, I might as well make tipping over safe. So I took 6 landing legs and I attached them in such a way where they would stick out. So when the ship would tip over after landing, it would just sit on the ground in a nice way where I could just launch off of that. And I really thought that this was going to work. I mean, this was the run. I was going to be done after this run. It was going to be great. Kerbal had other plans for me. You see, the entry went great. Nothing too serious. I slowed down nicely. I did have to waste a lot of fuel. As I was approaching the ground very quickly, I had to kind of ditch half a tank of fuel, which kind of sucked. But what really sucks is coming right up. You see, I landed on the ground, no issue. I started collecting science because I knew I would need it when I got back to Kerbin. I was going to use it to unlock a bunch of new parts. Right when I thought I was good to leave, I blew up 2 boosters, which caused me to go into a tailspin. Well, not just a tailspin, a spin. I was spinning. Jebediah was spinning. And I blew up. Now, it didn't work the first time, but surely it would work the second time, right? I mean, it's the Cactus Landing System. Nothing can stop it from working. What's the definition of insanity again? I can't really remember right now. But yes, I did try the Cactus Landing System again. It did not work. Luckily for me, the GOAT of this mission came into my stream right at this moment. Each of the 3 tanks? Wait, so when you say each of the 3 tanks, you mean these ones? I'm guessing. Each of that. Get that out of here. It's like that. It's like that. Yes. Let's go. It's happening. It's happening. This would be the breakthrough in ship design. You see, adding 2 legs to each tank, like this guy suggested, was exactly what I needed to stay stable on the ground, on the moon. And in doing so, it was now time to land on the moon. This viewer actually also taught me a few other cool things as I was doing this. For example, I could just move the maneuver node in such a way where I connect with the moon every single time. Along with that, I could use my F5 key to quick save and F9 to reload that quick save. So if anything went wrong, I could just reload a save, go back, and try again. Something went wrong. That's why I'm telling you this. I tried to land on the side of a crater, and I fell over. Without the cactus landing system, it all fell apart. Everything blew up. But now was not the time to quit. We were so close, I could feel it. We were so close to making it, to landing on the moon. I had to stick with it. I had to pull through. And on the next trip, I would make it. You see, by holding F9, I could just reload a few minutes ago and continue on as if nothing happened. Which, in cases such as this, are very useful. But I would only need to use it this once, because on this trip, I would land successfully. Now it was time for the return trip. And it was at this moment that I realized I didn't have enough fuel for the return trip. This was not good. This was really not good. I had to try a few different things, but eventually I got a good target and I began my trip home to Kerbin. Finally, I had a good line to make it back home. After using up the remaining fuel in my tanks, I would split off my final stage and become the greatest Hot Pocket of all time. I was going really, really fast, and that's why I put a heat shield on the bottom, because I got on fire. I was going about 3,000 meters a second at this point, which is really, really fast. Luckily, I would be able to slow down in time. My parachutes deployed, and I would slowly descend all the way onto the surface of Kerbin. Jebediah would be rescued. Following the successful completion of my mission, it would be time to use all of my science points. I got about 240 from them, which was huge, and I would use these to buy more science equipment, more fuel tanks, and better construction. I would also go and queue up some new missions to take care of from Mission Control. I would end with something nice and easy. I would use my ship called the Easy Orbit, which I had built a long time ago, to bring Kerbals into the orbit of Kerbin, completing a couple contracts. This was incredibly easy, and really is just an afterthought in this whole stream, seeing as how the main mission was already completed. And with my main mission done and a couple side quests completed, it was time to turn off the stream and go to bed. I was very tired at this point. And that is the whole story of how I made it to the moon and back in Kerbal Space Program on stream. Again, my Twitch is twitch.tv/DLMurphy930. Link will be in the description. Feel free to check it out. Drop a follow, and you'll get alerted when I stream there. I'd also like to take this time to remind you to like and subscribe this video for more videos like this in the future. As always, it's been real, it's been fun, it's been real fun. Thanks for watching.